Welcome to Fabloria, where we listen, we relax, and we enjoy timeless fairy tale stories. In a distant land surrounded by rolling hills and quiet rivers, there once lived a young girl named Ilara. Her home stood on the edge of a modest town, neither rich nor poor, but filled with memories of warmth and love. Ilara's mother had passed away when she was very young, leaving behind a gentle emptiness that never truly faded. From that day onward, her father became both parent and protector, raising his daughter with care, patience, and affection. For many years, Ilara's life was simple yet peaceful. Her father worked hard to provide for her, and she helped him whenever she could. Their home echoed with kindness, laughter, and quiet evenings by the fire. But fate, as it often does, changed everything. One day, Ilara's father remarried. His new wife, Madeline, arrived with her two daughters, Clara and Helena. From the moment they crossed the threshold, the air inside the house shifted. Smiles were polite but cold, words sweet but sharp. Though Madeline pretended to be caring in front of Ilara's father, her true nature revealed itself as soon as his back was turned. Madeline and her daughters were deeply jealous of Ilara. It wasn't only her natural beauty that bothered them, but her gentle manners and quiet strength. Clara and Helena were used to being admired and praised, yet beside Ilara they felt overshadowed. Their resentment grew day by day. Soon after the marriage, Ilara's father was forced to leave on a long journey for business. He promised to return soon, unaware that his departure would open the door to cruelty. The very day he left, Madeline discarded all pretense. From that moment on, Ilara's life became unbearable. Her room was taken away, and she was ordered to sleep in a small attic above the kitchen. Her fine clothes were replaced with worn dresses, and she was burdened with every household chore. From sunrise to long past sunset, she cleaned floors, washed dishes, cooked meals, scrubbed stairs, and carried heavy loads. No matter how hard she worked, it was never enough. "Do it again," Madeline would say coldly. "There's still dust here," Clara would sneer. "You're useless," Helena would add with laughter. Ilara bore it all in silence. Her only comfort came from the small creatures that visited her attic window. Birds perched nearby, mice scurried along the beams, and Ilara spoke to them softly, sharing her thoughts and sadness. They became her silent companions, offering her comfort in ways humans never did. Winter nights were the hardest. When the house grew cold and dark, Ilara would sneak downstairs after everyone slept and sit near the dying embers of the fireplace, warming her hands until sleep finally claimed her. Time passed, and one morning, a royal announcement echoed throughout the town. The king declared that a grand ball would be held at the palace. The prince was of age and searching for a bride. Every young woman in the kingdom was invited. The news sent Clara and Helena into excitement. They rushed home, dreaming aloud of silk gowns, sparkling jewels, and life in the palace. Madeline spared no expense. Dresses were sewn, shoes polished, hair styled. For days, the house buzzed with preparations. Ilara watched quietly as her stepsisters admired themselves in mirrors, boasting about how the prince would surely choose one of them. When the night of the ball finally arrived, Clara and Helena rose early, ordering Ilara to help them dress, fix their hair, and prepare everything. By evening, they were ready. Madeline looked at her daughters proudly and turned to Ilara with a cruel smile. "And you," she said, "will stay here. Finish your work, then go to bed. The palace is no place for servants." Ilara gathered her courage and asked softly, "May I go as well, even just to watch?" Laughter filled the room. "Ridiculous," Madeline replied. "Know your place." The carriage left, and Ilara was alone. She sat on the attic floor, tears streaming down her face. She thought of her parents, of the life she once had, and wished, just for one night, that things could be different. Suddenly, the room filled with a warm glow. Startled, Ilara looked up to see a woman standing before her, radiant and calm. She wore a soft smile and carried a presence unlike anything Ilara had ever known. "I am here to help you," the woman said gently. Ilara could hardly believe her eyes. With a wave of her hand, the woman transformed a simple pumpkin into a magnificent carriage. Small mice became strong horses, and worn rags turned into a breathtaking gown that shimmered like moonlight. On Ilara's feet appeared delicate glass shoes. "You may go," the woman said, "but remember, everything will return to its original form at midnight." Ilara nodded, overwhelmed with gratitude. At the palace, her arrival silenced the room. Guests turned, whispering in awe. Even Madeline and her daughters failed to recognize her. The prince noticed her immediately. He approached, offered his hand, and asked her to dance. As they moved across the floor, time seemed to disappear. Ilara felt seen, valued, and free for the first time in her life. But then, the clock began to chime. Fear rushed through her. She fled, running down the palace steps, losing one glass shoe behind her. By the time the prince followed, she was gone. Holding the shoe, the prince vowed to find her. The next day, royal messengers traveled across the kingdom, trying the glass shoe on every young woman. When they reached Ilara's house, Madeline locked her in the attic, determined to keep her hidden. But the small mice helped Ilara escape. When Ilara tried on the shoe, it fit perfectly. The truth could no longer be denied. Ilara was taken to the palace, where the prince recognized her instantly. He asked her to marry him. With tears of joy, she accepted. Ilara became a princess, not because of magic, but because of her kindness, strength, and unwavering heart. And though she never forgot her past, she chose forgiveness over bitterness, proving that true grace is the greatest power of all.